Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Commissioner Werfel, the first issue I want to talk with you about is identity theft case resolution.
Yes.
I assume you're aware we have some significant issues with that in Idaho. I think they're existing all across the country. According to data provided by your staff, on average, it is currently taking the IRS almost 2 years to resolve ID theft cases flagged by taxpayers to the IRS. Your staff also indicates that the IRS currently has a backlog of almost 600,000 such cases. During the time a taxpayer awaits the IRS resolving a case, many negative outcomes can occur, including the IRS itself taking actions that could harm the already victimized taxpayers, such as imposing liens or levies. As a sign of how pervasive and troubling these cases are, I'm aware of instances where state and local governments have reached out to Congress to assist with their own ID theft cases. Now, I'm not asking you to comment today on any particular case, though my staff has been in touch with you and your staff with regard to some of these. Speaking generally to all of the cases, I'm concerned and certain that you would agree that taking years to identify and resolve ID theft victims' claims and problems is unacceptable, and that both the delinquent resolution time and the sheer volume of the backlog needs to be improved rapidly. Would you agree to provide me your responses no later than your responses to the committee's other questions on record, a report detailing the concrete steps that the IRS will hereafter take to quickly and thoroughly resolve these unresolved ID theft cases, as well as an analysis of the reasons why there are so many of these cases in the first place?
Yes, absolutely. We will commit to that.
Well, I appreciate that. And this is something that really needs to be highly prioritized. The next issue that I would like to go to with you is basically the direct file and what I see as a lack of transparency regarding the way that it's been managed. When you last testified before this committee, I raised concerns with the wasteful and duplicative direct file program that at the time the IRS was allegedly only studying. You assured me then that no decision has been made on moving forward with the direct file. A week later, you told House Ways and Means Committee's members that you would produce a study and then you would come back and talk about it with Congress. What happened is that the very same day you issued your study, which both GAO and TIGTA have since flagged as missing key information and analysis, you announced that the IRS was going to do direct file. Putting aside policy concerns with respect to direct file, my question for you is, do you believe that the IRS has statutory authority to implement a direct file program?
I do.
And what is that authority?
We have authorities under the Internal Revenue Code to provide taxpayer service to taxpayers and update the tools and the solutions that taxpayers use to file. So we lived in a world where we had only paper forms. Then we moved to a world where, for example, we can put a PDF form on the web and people can fill out that PDF form on the web. We didn't need congressional authority to do that. We worked to develop, as you mentioned in your opening statement, a partnership with the Free File Alliance with commercial software providers to add and work with them and support their efforts to support free electronic solutions. We didn't need congressional authority to do that. And now we stand here where we are hearing from taxpayers, not every taxpayer, but some taxpayers, that they want an additional option. They want an additional, they have paper, they can go on a PDF file on the web. They can work with a commercial software provider. IRS didn't ask for legislative authority. Now there's just yet another option on the menu. And it's our assessment that we have the authority to add such options on the menu. Maybe there's another option that's going to come after direct file. Again, this is about the IRS working with taxpayers, serving their best interest, and making sure we're giving them options to make their life less stressful and easier as they file their taxes.
Well, I'll pursue this with you more later. I only have time for one last question, and I need to get this question in. This is the budget request for another $104 billion.
Yep.
You stated before that the IRS would have a decade to rebuild with the $80 billion in IRS funding. And there would be a healthy pressure to immediately take the funds and demonstrate what a well-funded IRS means. At the time when many of us raised concerns about that level of funding, which was 5 times or more of the budget of the IRS, it was stated, well, we need that money to maintain these employees. Now I'm understanding that we need the $104 billion more to maintain the employees of the IRS. I guess my question could be, when will it stop? But my question is, now that the IRS has requested an additional more than 8 times its annual budget for more new mandatory multi-year spending, when is it going to end? What is the actual amount of doubling, tripling, multiplying the size of the IRS budget in order to accomplish whatever the objectives you say can't be accomplished with what has been provided? When will we see the end of the amount of phenomenal multiplications of the size of the IRS in budget requests?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked the question, Senator. I'd like to take a moment just to explain our budget as quickly and easily as I can. We have a base budget, and then we have a modernization budget. And our base budget is too small to serve the tax system that we have today. Our base budget is roughly the same as it was in 2010, and the tax system has grown in a variety of different ways. More filers, a gig economy, more complexity, thousands of changes to the tax code. So as the tax system grows and our base budget stays constant, we have to rely on the modernization funds to close that gap. And so what we're asking for in the funding is to basically create a new baseline. So as the tax system continues to grow, we have the right setup to run the train schedules that are created by that tax code. It's not about asking for more and more and more money to build an ever-increasing IRS. It's about achieving a baseline. Because what happens in the out years is all the money goes away. So if you look at 2026, we lose all of our ability to maintain services. If you look at 2028 and 2029, we lose all of our ability to maintain technology because there's a cliff. So that money that you're describing as of concern is really just intended to address the cliffs in the out years. And so that when taxpayers came to us this year and we were able to answer close to 9 out of 10 of their calls in 3 minutes time, what the president's budget is saying is, please make sure that same result exists in 2026, 27, 28, and 29. That's all the president's budget is asking for.
So a new baseline that is 800% the existing baseline?
It's not 800%. I would say it's, it's close. It's different in services than it is in operations. But currently, we are about $2 to $3 billion a year off of our services baseline, as an example. And by the way, the tax system continues to grow. So I can show you all the math and work with your team on that. But I want to be clear that the increased money is really a combination of making sure that we can provide digital tools to taxpayers, but also just run the train schedules that we have today and overcome these cliffs that are coming. Thank you.
Okay, Senator Carper, then followed by Senator Grassley.
Yeah. Thanks.